Hare Krishna. So we'll just discuss few things about Lord Ram. This today's Ram. I'll just share. Lord Ramchandra is living example of dharma and sacrifice. So basically, what sacrifice one has to make in order to set an example is actually what Lord Rama is showing. And now, uh, in the Lord Ram, he appears in Sun dynasty, and Krishna appears in Moon dynasty. And it is said that Sun is quite simple to understand, rises and sets, and quite clear. The path is very. Moon is quite complicated. The Moon has many masks. It is waxing, waning, and so. What's why to understand Krishna is difficult. Lord Rama is quite easy. Because Krishna is very mysterious, he is very deep and not very easy. But Lord Ram, he lives a very clean life. Like means where things are very clear. Because uh, Krishna is showing about love. Love is very deep. Lord Ram is showing of dharma. That is the basically main difference. Now I wanted to share like uh, so is Lord Ram acts according to dharma. He has criteria for choosing a solution. What is the criteria for Lord Ram to choose a solution is Shastra. Krishna, his solutions are different. Krishna does not follow Shastra, he follows love. So rules are different. But that's why sun, it symbolizes the external life of a man, and moon symbolizes the inner life of a man. We have to be, in our life, we should be very simple and uncompromising, not very like. Now, it is said that we should follow the example of Lord Ram. And like when Krishna is telling to Arjuna, no kaunteya pratijanahi name bhakta pranashti. So it is not, Krishna is not telling, no, my devotee will not. He want Arjuna to do it. Because to trust Krishna is difficult. People don't trust Krishna all the time. That's why Krishna is telling Arjuna, you tell my devotee. Now, spiritual life or our inner life is not actually simple. So Krishna, there it is very difficult. Krishna is teaching all these complexities and subtleties. But in order for our spiritual life, our inner life to be successful, our outer life should be very simple and open. So that means a person must be well understand that what it requires to live by dharma, what it means to do certain sacrifices. If you take life of Lord Ram, if you see his uh, from worldly point of view, it looks like his life is already very bad, very difficult life. Is completely like he has to go to the forest for 14 years and then so many other things. He did not much enjoy like Now, when a person builds his life in accordance to the instructions of scriptures, what happens is first is he gains strength. So, it is like light comes from sun. So, so he gains strength. That is the first. And second thing is he gains the inner depth. Two things: strength and internally, a person becomes very deep. Like if I see his life, he has 13. For 13 years, he was in the forest, and then after that, his wife is stolen, and then in the 14th year, and after that, he has to take help of monkeys because he didn't had anybody that time. Some tribal, uncivilized monkeys, and then he has to fight with great Rakshasas, and after that, he comes back when he had very nice things are going on, then people criticize his wife. He has to abandon the wife to the forest. So all these things happen to Lord Ram. So it looks like nothing good happened as such. And now, how could we understand that if somebody is dedicated to Dharma, life is dedicated to Dharma sacrifice, then the reward, it looks like there is no much success. But there is something called internal happiness. The person, the reward he gets for the sacrifice is inner happiness. And when a person tries to look for happiness in external things, he tries to buy happiness cheaply and he receives also. But this happiness is very cheap. It does not, it's just some external purchase and things like, but it does not reach into the heart of a person. And but and it is said you get actually some duplicate happiness. That cheating happiness. It is something that seems like happiness, but that is the it does not leave any trace in the heart. It's not deep, it's not good trace in the heart. Because he's pursuing all superficial things. And the result he'll also become very superficial. But when a person follows the higher principles in life, even if from the ordinary point of view, it may seem unhappiness, but inside the person is experiencing a very great happiness, which is not accessible to ordinary person. Like there are several episodes in Ramayana which shows that the Lord Ram is going through some great difficulties, but but there is so much depth. Will try to understand how to. Means this is a very important thing to understand what exactly happiness is, because if Ramayana is not filled with happiness, why would people listen and watch it for millenniums? Millions of years, this Ramayana story is going on, and every time it is fresh. Now today's Ramayana, again we can discuss and we feel fresh on. Why it is fresh? Because it has that depth. That is the main thing. And people, when they are listening Ramayana, it still brings tears in their eyes and they're hearing with wide open mouth and all these things. It happens even now. So that's why it is said that Ramayana is inexhaustible. It is a very important point to understand. Inexhaustible because it has that depth. Like if a person built his life on the right principles, although outwardly his life seems more difficult, but inwardly it becomes deeper and more meaningful. Right? This depth and content brings a person much more satisfaction and happiness than the outer surface life. And we have discussed this last time also, explained this point, but again, because we want to remind ourselves, because people say, "Arey, what did he get by following all these things? Everything is suffering only." Yeah, from external point of view, but it's not like that. That's what I wanted to explain. Because why we read Ramayana? Because it has that. And this can be very well seen in the life of to try to feel this inner depth that comes from it. Ramayana is actually very mysterious book also. That although it they make cartoons of Ramayana and they make stories, serials, cinema, so many things they make. But especially in cartoon background, because the depth cannot be, the psychological depth cannot be understood. It's the oldest poem that is existing. That is the oldest poem in the world. Ramayana is considered, and also it is written in Anushtup Chanda. So in Anushtup Chanda means it should be having certain number of words in each line. Yeah, two, 4 parts, 2 lines, 4 parts. It should have a proper meter, and the word should be 1 word, 2 words, very specific. For every shloka, it should be like that. And to write 24,000 shlokas like that and explaining the exact story that happened, it's really, really uh, very mysterious. Now, there are some very key points in Ramayana which gives a huge lesson. The way the heroes behave, the way they express their feeling in Ramayana. The first lesson is when Dasharatha exiled his son Rama to the forest. Now, we all know the details. So, Dasharatha decided to crown Ram because he realized that my life is coming to it. I'll be really happy when I see my eldest son, from whom I made so many sacrifices, he will ascend that. So he ordered to and he ordered everything to preparations. He ordered the priest for the favorable time, and they began to make preparation for the great sacrifice to collect all the ingredients necessary. And everybody rejoiced when they found out that there is a very big arrangement made, and everybody was happy because everybody loved Ram and they wanted to be under him. We know the principle. And they felt what a blessings that we are under the kingdom of Lord Ram. And except for Mantara, and she went to Kaikei and she informed him. And Kaikei is very happy, but Mantara did not. She began to tell. She says, I always know that women are stupid, but I don't know that they are so stupid to such an extent. They do not know what he will do when he becomes as a king and all these things. And Kaikeya, she was she was confused and very suspicious. This is actually one of the psychophysical nature. For women, this is one advantage and disadvantage also. That they do not have any common ground with reality. So they can be easily swayed, but it's the advantage also. They can be swayed in devotional path also. And it's sometimes it's very difficult to explain certain things. But Mantara is convinced that she is getting cheated. And after that, when Dashrath Maharaj comes, he tried to explain to Mother Sita in all possible logical ways, but it didn't go into her head. And she went into a Shok Mandapa, Shok Griha, whatever. So this is a very nice custom previously people had. If they're upset with their husband, they go to a chamber where it is said that chamber of anger. They don't shout because now houses are 1 BHK, 2, 3, 4 BHK. So they don't have separate rooms like that. Maybe in future this custom will be restored. People will make one more place where they can have this shoka chambers, anger, chambers of anger and grief. Whenever they have fight, they just have to go to that room. They don't shout. So it's a civilized society that time. Wife began to shout on husband and husband is beating and shouting. It was not like that. Civilized society, nobody shouts on anyone. If wife goes to the anger chamber, she closes herself there and she takes up her jewelry and she wears some black dress. She washes all her makeup and she is sitting on the floor. And then yes, sir. Dasharath Maharaj, he comes very innocently because everything, he was very rejoicing. Everything is for him a great rejoice because Ram is becoming the king and he's coming to his closest wife, the wife, but he sees that she is in the chamber of anger. And he comes and asks, "What is the matter with you, man? What happened to you?" And she said, "I will forgive you so much, but you must promise to fulfill my desires. I had only 2 wishes, you have to fulfill." And Dasharath Maharaj, he falls into the trap. He said, "Yes, yes." Then he says, "Okay, let Bharat be the king, Lord Ram go to the forest." And now Dasharath Maharaj could not believe his ears. He simply could not believe. The worst thing happened because, like a Kshatriya, he could not break his word. Now, this is the important feature of Ramayana. The Ramayana, it is strictly maintaining dharma. There is no compromises. There is no compromise with dharma. Dharma means I had to do it. We must build our life based on the principles of dharma. Then only then only we can reveal the secrets of love that will manifest in the heart. It's an evolution from Lord Ram to Krishna. In Krishna, all dharmas are broken. If you see Krishna, from the beginning, it starts with love. Vasudeva also promised Kamsa that whoever is born to me, I will give it to you. And as soon as Krishna is born, he took him to uh, Nanda Maharaj in Gokul Mahavar. Now he broke the law, but he followed a higher law, that is love. But to get that level, we should follow Lord Ramchandra. We should follow the dharma at our level. Like that. So first we should build our life on the basis of dharma. Then only we will be able to understand love. Because there was a Kshatriya, but he is considered more elevated than Dasharath Maharaj also. So Dasharatha could not imagine that he would deceive for the sake of Lord Ramchandra. Actually, he is not such an exalted devotee compared to us. But it is important. Of course, he is only Vasudeva, he is only the same person, is coming in different form. Dasharath, the worst happened for him. He had to fulfill the word, and for the sake of the word, he has to expel Ram from the palace. And he could not even tell to Ram this. He became white and pale and very miserable, called Ram whole night. And behind him stood Kaikeyi. And when Lord Ram comes, then he could not tell. Kaikeyi tells. And then Kaikeyi explains that no, I took to birth words from your father that you should go to the forest for 14 years and become a hermit. And your brother Bharat will become the king. And Lord Ram reacted. He just was very straight. He said, "Yes, it's fine." So, not a single muscle on his face flinched. Not even a single eyebrow has fallen. He was, if he says, if it will please my father, I will live. So this is Lord Ram. So how is it possible? Because he is not living by the principle of enjoyment. He is living by the principle of service and sacrifice. So Lakshman, when he found about this, he said, okay, if necessary, let me overthrow him. You don't even have to tell me to do it. He tells Ram. You just give a hint, that's all. I will do rest. You just signal with your eye. Remaining, I will take care. No need of even speaking because people may say, you said. No need to say anything. No one will blame you. If necessary, uh, because he felt this is unfair. For what reason somebody should be sent to the forest? What wrong you did? Okay, somebody send you to forest out of the kingdom. And you are the eldest son, you are the heir, and what are 14 years? Our father has gone mad. Lakshman was famous for his frankness and his love for justice. He wanted to live for justice. He said, it's not justice. Ram said, no, we will go to forest because that's what the Lord wants. It's whatever the destiny wants. He said that the though I want this and this is the providence. And he did not regret inside or he is no resentment, no envy, nothing. Word of the father was law for him. He said, I have to do it. Whatever happens, whatever let it happen in that. Now, this is actually a very important principle. It gives a person inside a deep sense of happiness. In any circumstances, when the father told him go to the forest and like it's a difficult to even imagine also. Somebody is suddenly about to be thrown and sent to the forest. At the last moment, he is deprived of all his inheritance and expelled to the forest. It's a difficult. What persons will do immediately will consult the lawyer. They say, okay, we'll fight in the court. We'll see. We'll seek the justice. No, Ram just he became happy. He said because he knew it is good for me. In the end, this is actually what is happiness. That I follow the principles. Because following dharma means person makes a person very deeper, makes a person not so primitive, makes a person very, very happy in all situations. And another example is of Mother Sita. So Mother Sita, she felt dharma and she knows dharma also. These are the heroes of Ramayana. They all know that all this was good for us, that all this was done for the good of everyone. And there is another episode, like very dramatic situation. When the big long war ended and Sita was brought to the Ram, she was preparing for this meeting for a long time. After a year, almost 9 to 10 months, she lived in Lanka in the prison of the Ashok Vatika of Ravana. And every moment in that imprisonment, she was thinking of Ram only. She did not spend a single moment, not even a second, without thinking of Ram. And finally, she is getting an opportunity to meet after a year of separation. And when it was actually supposed to be a happy ending, she was brought to Ramchandra, and she wore the best dress, and she is shining with happiness. And the heart breaks because she stumbled into a cold piece of ice. Ram didn't even respond. Like as soon as you see after great separation, you'd be very beaming, laughing, and you may express so many emotions. But Lord Ram was very, very cold and very grave. And she was coming with great happiness, but she understood she is stumbling on a cold ice. Her husband meets her, she meets her coldly, looks at her and says, "My dear lady, I did everything I could. I set you free from this demon. Now all 10 directions are yours. You can go anywhere you want. You can choose. You can go here, there, everywhere." And Sita looked at him and said, "Okay." She also didn't have any resentment. Nothing bad happened in her heart. She did not become angry on Lord Ram. She thought, okay, if he wants it, let it be. She's also equally that strong. He said, okay, you can go. Then she says, uh, okay, good, then I will enter into fire. That is the only direction I want to be. Lakshman was looking at her and at Ram. And Ram said, good, go into the fire. And check if you are honest or not. Let the fire prove that you are honest. Lakshman was waiting for everything. When he said, and that he didn't like it. It's like a bad joke. He was waiting for this, and Lakshmana was waiting for this mirage or nightmare to disappear because he could not believe in himself. Ram is sitting and is not looking at Sita, is looking down. And Sita is telling Lakshmana, go and make fire. Hurry up. Do not wait. And Lakshmana was saying, Arey, so much we did for Mother Sita to meet with Ram. And what is this climax? And Sita did not have any slightest resentment. There is not a single feeling inside. She felt he wants this, it means I will do it. So it is necessary. This is for the common good. And Valmiki says that when Sita was up to the fire, even the demigod gasped. Everyone who watched, people gasped. No one could believe that this is happening. And Lord Ram even looked in the direction. No one could believe. And it is said that after she entered, Agni grabbed her. He carried her outside. It is said Agni made his wife sit on his lap, and then Sita was sitting on the lap of Agni's wife. And he comes and he says, Agni says that uh, she will destroy me. I cannot burn Sita. She will burn me. Her chastity is so powerful and which she has accumulated. It will burn me. And he placed her in front of Ram and said, what do you want? You want me to die? Please look at her. She even have the droplets of sweat that came out of feelings that she was experiencing. Even the droplets of sweat did not evaporate when she ascended into the blazing fire. Flowers in her head, even they also could not fade when from the fire. Better take her. I do not want to have anything to do with her. She is yours. She is clean. Please take her. So then Lord Ramchandra accepted her. And now, when they experience all these feelings, have nothing to do with the all these latest feelings of Hollywood and Bollywood, which which are turning many people's life. This is not actually real life because real life is built on sacrifice. When a person builds his life on sacrifice, this makes his heart very deep. And deep feeling can appear in a deep heart. You can really experience something more. When the heart is superficial and the heart is like a puddle, then small waves also can disturb it. But if it is like ocean, we can create storm in the glass of water very fast. But when the deep heart becomes like an ocean, then emotions that come never settle in the shallow heart. So the deep of ocean is very deep, right? Now another thing is when Ram sent Sita to the forest again. So now many women have problem with this pastime. We did not even find it necessary to say. Some fool, some low class man, some kind of washerman who is washing the dirty clothes of others. He said to his wife, "Get out of here. I am not like Rad Ramchandra. I don't want to take back a woman who had been away from home for a long time." When Lord Ram heard this rumor, he did not even call Sita and he did not call and tell her about it. Why? Some may say that, like people say, who is afraid of Sita, to explain to her that this is the reason I am sending you to the forest. Was he afraid to tell her? No. Why he just trusted her. He trusted her that she will not misunderstand me, my action. And he did not have, uh, and not that he didn't have confidence to tell Sita, I am sending you to the forest. Please excuse me. I'm very sorry. This is happening. My reputation is in stake. I am uh, actually because my reputation must be impeccable. Please forgive me. Do not be offended. I'll send you to the forest now. Who do not want. So all these things, but without blinking an eyes, he sent to the forest. He knows 100% Sita will understand him. And Lakshmana leaves her to the forest when she gets out of the chariot. He says that Sita wanted to visit forest, take her. On the Lakshmana comes. And then he says, Lord Ram says, but leave her, don't bring her back. So when Sita sits on the chariot, and when she gets down, then Lakshmana says that Lord Ram don't want you to come back. So Sita thought she's going for a walk in the forest. He looks at her and said, "My Lord, may the Lord told me to tell you not to return to the city. You stay here and spend the rest of your life here." So Sita faints in surprise, but she comes to herself. She looks at Lakshmana and says, "This is a very important thing." She says that if this makes my husband happiness perfect, then it's the best thing that could happen to me. The peril of Raghu Klein is happy with this. She was born in the shell of Kausalya. I will stay here, and there will be no woman happier than me because from now on, I know that his reputation is impeccable. Tell him not to grieve. I'll be happy here in the forest, and no one will be happier than me. Living here in the forest in separation from him, because I will know that I will not cast a shadow in his reputation. Now, this is quite disagreeing for many people, but they'll say this is unfair, cannot agree. So I say, why did Lord Ramchandra do it? Because we say, "Arey, he's a stupid Shudra," he said. So do not throw a, it is so unfair. It looks, and when he is back, when Lavan Kusha has arrived, they told Ramchandra they have come back. So the fact is very simple. Everything is very simple, Naman. That unlike Krishna need to explanation, Lord Ramchandra no. Because Yadyad Acharati Shreshtas Tatta Tevetarojana. So now what is important here is Mother Sita, she is experiencing that great amount of happiness because it is because they did not sacrifice dharma to his wife. Actually, there is another important thing here that is called Vipralambha Bhava, which is not understood. That Lord Ram want to experience love in separation. It's a pastime. Lord Ram and Mother Sita are never separated. People, they don't understand this Vipralambha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained it. Love in separation. So, anyway, this is one of the important thing I want to explain. We'll come back to our purpose. We'll just complete some syllabus. Any questions on this? Good, no questions. So, this will take few purposes. Nice purpose, Prabhupada has some nice things to share. आत्यन्तिकेन सत्त्वेन दिव्यं देवा प्रपेदिरे तराम्रजः स्वभावेन पनयो ये च ताननु. The demigods, qualified by the super excellent quality of mode of goodness, are situated in the heavenly planets, where the human beings, because of the nature of mode of passion, live on the earth in the company of their subordinates. So, this is the universal form created the three planetary systems. Before that, universal form, all the senses appeared, right? Prabhupada is writing. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said that those who are highly developed in mode of goodness are promoted in the heavenly planets. Those overpowered with passion situated in middle planetary systems, and those who are such as with ignorance are degraded lower planetary systems. The demigods are highly developed in goodness, and they situate there. And below human beings are animals, some of whom mingled with human society, cows, horses, dogs, are inhabited to live under the protection of human beings. The word Atyantikena is very significant in this verse. By extreme development of mode of goodness in the material nature, one can become situated in the heavenly planets, but by excessive development of mode of passion ignorance, the human beings indulge in killing animals who are meant to be protected by mankind. Persons who indulge in unnecessary animal killing have excessively developed the mode of passion and ignorance and have no hope of advancing to the mode of goodness. They are destined to be degraded to lower species of life. The planet systems are circulated up as upper and lower in terms of the classes of living entities who live there. So in upper planet system also there are animals. Tartiyena svabhavena bhagavan nabhim ashritaha ubayor antaram yoma ye rudra prashadambana. A living entity who are associates of Rudra have developed mode of ignorance, the mode of nature. They are situated in the sky between earthly planets and heaven. There is Ekshaloka, 100 yojanas away from the earth. So this is Bhuvar Loka. The middle portion of the sky is called Bhuvar Loka. This confirmed by Srila Krishna Chakravarti Goswami. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that those who develop mode of passion are situated in the middle region. Those who are situated in mode of goodness are promoted region of demigods, and those who are situated in mode of passion are placed in human society, and those who are situated in mode of ignorance placed in the society animals are ghosts. There is no contradiction in this conclusion. Makato vartat brahma purushasya pura vaha yastanmuka va varnana makayo bhu brahmano guruhu. O chief of the Kuru dynasty, the Vedic wisdom becomes manifested from the mouth of Virata, the universal flow. Those who are inclined to this Vedic knowledge are called Brahmanas, and they are natural teachers and spiritual masters of all the orders of society. So here, from the Virat Rupa, what is manifesting? Vedic wisdom. and those and Vedic knowledge are who are inclined are called Brahmanas. They become the teachers. Even everything is manifested. And the bodily divisions of the Virat Rupa, arms, waist, legs, those who are situated in the mouth are called Brahmanas, situated in the arms are Kshatriyas, waist are Vaishyas, legs are Shudras. So everybody is situated in the universal gigantic form. Each and every part of the body is important, although the mouth is the most important. If other parts are cut from the body, the man cannot continue the life. So therefore, this most important part of body of the Lord is called the sitting place of Brahmanas. And Prabhupada, right? The real Brahmana is a natural teacher of the spiritual master. Unless one has the Vedic knowledge, one cannot become a spiritual master. Perfect knowledge of the Vedas is to know the Lord, the personality of God. And that is the end of Vedic knowledge or Vedanta. One who is situated in impersonal Brahman had no information of the Supreme Personality of God. So Sat Karma Nipuno Vipro Mantra Tantra Visharada Avaishno Guru Nasya Vaishnava Swapajo Guru. From Padma Purana. So the important thing is he should be a Vaishnava. An impersonalist can become a qualified Brahmana, but he cannot become a spiritual master unless and until he is promoted stage of Vaishnava, devotee of personality of God. That is what Kiba Vipra Kabha Nyasa Shudra Kenana Ye Krishna Tattva Say Guru. So if he knows about Krishna, even though he is born in a lower birth, he can be a spiritual master. So that is the point Prabhupada is making. Now they have the argument that if he is such a nice person, why is born in a Shudra family? Why his karma is so bad that he has to take birth there? That is the argument they have. Like say, if he is born in a Brahmana family, that means his karma is good. That's why he is born in a Brahmana family. His karma is bad, then he will be born in a Shudra family. Now, and he has mode of ignorance, that's why he is born in Shudra family. His mode of goodness, he will be in a Brahmana family. And he is qualified to become a guru because he is having mode of goodness, right? His karma is so bad. But what happens is a person can change his that level of karma can be still changed if he becomes a devotee. That's why say Krishna Tattveta, Jai Krishna Tattveta, say Guru Hoy. So if he is getting like Prabhupada made many of these hippies into Vaishnavas and they became gurus, right? That means even though they are born in such families, but Prabhupada could be becoming a devotee, it can be changed. Bahubhyo vartata kshatram kshatriyastat anuvratah yo rajatastaryate varna paurusha pautaka kshatah. Thereafter, the power of the protection was generated from the arms of the gigantic Virat form, and in relation to such power, the Kshatriyas also came into existence by following the Kshatriya principles of protecting society from the disturbance of thieves and miscreants. Prabhupada writes as a Brahmana are recognized by the particular qualification of inclination towards the transcendental knowledge of Vedic wisdom. So also Kshatriyas are recognized by their power of protect society from the disturbing elements of thieves and miscreants. The word Anubrata is significant. A person who follows the Kshatriya principle, protecting society from thieves and miscreants is called Kshatriya, not the one who is simply born a Kshatriya. This is another thing to understand. Just not by birth, it's an action that makes him qualified. The conception of the caste system is always based on quality and not on the qualification of birth. It's very important. Lord Vishnu is always mentioned as the Purusha in all Vedic scriptures. Sometimes the living entity are also mentioned as Purusha, although they are essentially Purusha Shakti, Para Shakti or Para Prakriti, the superior energy of Purusha. Illusioned by external potency of Purusha, the living entity falsely thinks themselves as Purusha, although they actually had no qualification. The Lord has the power to protect. The other three deities, Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh, of the three deities, the first has the power to create, the second has power to protect, the third has power to destroy. The word Purusha is significant in this verse because the Kshatriyas are expected to represent the Purusha, Lord, in giving protection. And of all these who are born on the land of and water, protection is therefore meant for both men and animals. So everybody should. So this is a very nice point Prabhupada is telling. And that's why the king is representative of the Lord because he is giving protection. Like that. In modern society, the praja are not protected from the hands of thieves and miscreants. The modern democratic state, which has no kshatriyas, is a government of Vaishyas and Shudras, and not of Brahmanas and Kshatriyas as formerly. Maharaj, so here presently the rule is democracies, Vaishyas and Shudras are ruling the country now. Maharaj Yudhishthir and his grandson Maharaj Parikshit were typical Kshatriya kings, for they gave protection to all men and animals. When the Kali comes, how he protects. According to Vedic civilization, a qualified Kshatriya monarch is given the respect of Lord because he is representing Lord. Prabhupada, right? Modern elected presidents cannot even give protection from theft cases, and therefore one has to take protection from the insurance companies. The problem of modern human society are due to the lack of qualified Brahmanas and Kshatriyas and the over influence of Vaishyas and Shudras due to the so-called of general franchise. Disho vartanta tasyo yor loka vartikarar vibho Vaishyastad uvayor vartam nrinam samvartayat. So now everyone's means of livelihood, namely production of grains and their distributions to the prajas, were generated from the thighs of the Lord's gigantic form. The mercantile men who take charge of such activities are called Vaishyas. So now, Prabhupada is now this is the third aspect. So gigantic form. Prabhupada writes nice purport. He says human society's means of living is clearly mentioned here as Visha or agriculture and the business of distributing agricultural products, which involves transport, banking, etc. Industry is an artificial means of livelihood, and nowadays everybody want to industrialize and give jobs to many people, but that's not actually the stable way. The large scale industry, especially, is the source of all problems of society. In the Bhagavad Gita, also the duties of Vaishyas who are engaged in Visha, as stated as cow protection, agriculture, and business. We already discussed that the human beings can safely depend on cow and agriculture land for his livelihood. Prabhupada writes, the exchange of product produced by banking and transportation is a branch of this type of living. The Vaishyas are divided into many subsections. Some of them are Kshatris or landowners, some are called Shanans, a land tiller, some are called Tila Vanika or grain raisers, some are called Ganda Vanika or merchants in spices, and some are called Suvarnavanika, that is Prabhupada's. They are from Suvarnavanika, are merchants in the gold and banking. The Brahmanas are the teachers, Kshatriyas are protectors, and the Vaishyas are producers and distributors. And Shudras, they serve all of them. Formerly, the Brahmanas were given all necessary like Kshatriyas and Vaishyas because they have no time to spend making a living. The Kshatriyas would collect taxes from Vaishyas and Shudras, but the Brahmanas were exempt for paying income tax or property tax. That system of human society was so nice that there was no political, social, or economic upheaval. The different castes of Varna classifications are therefore essential for maintaining a peaceful human society. पादाभ्या भगवतो ज्ञाने शूद्रसाधर्मसिद्धये तस्यां जाता पुरा शूद्रो यद्वर्तया तुष्यते हरिः. Thereafter, service was manifested from the legs of personality of Godhead for the sake of perfecting the religious function. Situated on the legs are the Shudras, who satisfy the Lord by service. Prabhupada is nice purport. Service is the real constitutional occupation of living entities. The living entity are meant to render service to the Lord, and they can attain religious perfection by this service attitude. One cannot attain religious perfection simply by speculating to attain theoretical knowledge. The Jnani division of spiritualists go on speculating only to distinguish the soul from matter, but they have no information of the activities of the soul after being liberated by knowledge. It is said that persons who only engage in mental speculation to know things as they are and who do not engage in transcendental loving service of Lord are simply wasting their time. So it is service that is very important. Prabhupada writes, it is clearly stated here that the principle of service was generated from the legs of the Lord for the sake of perfecting the religious process. But this transcendental service is difficult from the idea of service in the material world. In the material world, no one wants to be servant. Everyone wants to become the master. Become false mastership is the basic disease of the conditioned souls. The conditioned soul in the material world want to lord it over others. Illusioned by the external energy of the Lord, is forced to become a servant of material world. That is the real position of condition. So we want to be master, but we become servant. The last snare of illusion, external energy, is conception of becoming one with the Lord, and due to this conception, the illusioned souls remains in the bondage of material energy, falsely thinks himself a liberated soul as good as Narayana. So these are all Mayavadis, are unfortunately. So a Brahmana is supposed to know this fact, the fact that he is render service unto the Lord. The other sections are supposed to follow the directions of Brahmanas and Vaishnavas especially. That will make the entire society perfect in regard to the orders of its social construction. A disordered society cannot satisfy either the members of the society or the Lord. Even if this is actually what is happening present. Even if one is not a perfect Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, but takes to the service of Lord, not caring for the perfection of his social position, he becomes a perfect human being simply by developing the attitude of service to the Lord. So, without becoming any Varnashrama, directly we can become servant of Krishna. So, we'll take this one. Ete varna swadharmena nya yajnanti swadgunam harim shraddhayatma vishuddha artam yajnata saha vartibihi. All these different social divisions, along with their occupational duties and living conditions, were born from the Supreme Personality of God. Thus, for unconditional life and self-realization, one has to worship the Supreme Lord under the direction of the spiritual master. Since they are born from different parts of the body of Supreme Lord in his gigantic form, all living entities are parts of the universe, are supposed to be eternal servitors of the Lord. All the parts of our own body, such as mouth, hands, thighs, and legs, are meant to render service to the whole. That is our constitution position. In subhuman life, the living entities are not conscious of this constitution position. So, this is the problem. Prabhupada writes, in the conditioned life, the soul is under the impression that he can become the Lord of the universe, and the last point of this misconception is to think oneself Supreme Lord. The Prabhupada is again and again telling because it is so deep rooted, people cannot come out of this understanding. The actual position of conditioned soul is explained in this. All the conditioned soul are impure due to contact with the material energy in the three modes of nature. As a soul is pure, but the identity is impure. That's it. Therefore, it is necessary to purify under the guidance of bona fide spiritual masters. So, Bahunam Janmanamante Jnanavan Mam Vasudeva Sarmati Sa Mahatma Stubla. So, I wish all of you happy Ram and we will continue this from. Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.